I'm Andy Peck. I'm the sub-editor of Preach Magazine and an occasional host of this podcast. In this episode, we have a conversation that links with a theme of Preach Magazine, Preach 47, which is connecting with the community. The conversation focuses on a ministry which has, for over a quarter of a century, sought to very much connect with the community. The charity is Transforming Lives for Good, TLG, a national Christian children's charity that helps churches to bring hope and a future to struggling children. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Rob Stevenette, the head of church partnerships for Transforming Lives for Good, and Reverend Dr. Sarah Forrest, whose church is involved with TLG. Sarah is vicar of a 3 churches benefice, Great Amwell with St Margaret's and Stansted Abbots, serving 3 villages in Hertfordshire. So welcome, Rob.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
And welcome, Sarah. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
So perhaps, Rob, we could start with you for a little while, looking at the vision of TLG first, and then we'll come to Sarah to look at the practicalities of working with TLG as a church leader. So Rob, perhaps give us a broader perspective on the needs you see most prevalent for children, specifically around mental health crises.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So there is such huge need across the UK. NHS England data tells us that from the last year that 1 in 5 young people from the age of 8 up to the mid-20s have a probable mental health condition. And yeah, there's a lot of need that schools will be seeing in our communities across the UK, of course, around emotional health and well-being. And I think crucially, I think there's a big need in school, children, young people needing belonging, needing connection, and the stability that can come from consistent support one-to-one. And that's where we feel like the church can step in being a place of relationship, of support. We have so many incredible volunteers across the UK through our early intervention programme that get alongside children and families who will be struggling with all sorts of things, whether it be their emotional well-being, their mental health, the impact of change going on in their lives, family breakdown, bereavement perhaps. Lots of different needs that we'll be seeing in our schools, but that consistent support, the stability that comes from that can make such a huge difference through relationship. Churches across the UK are so well placed to serve their local schools.
I mentioned in my introduction that you've been doing this for over a quarter of a century. Was it 1999 in Bradford where this all began?
That's right. Yeah, we started out as a youth group in an inner city church in the great city of Bradford, and from that started to develop one-to-one support with young people that were disengaged from school, and it's really grown from there. And now we partner with over 220 churches of all sorts of shapes and sizes in towns, villages, cities across the UK. It's such a privilege to be alongside the local church. And over the 25 years, we've pioneered trauma-informed ways that we can equip the local church to be alongside children and families. Church being in community. That's what we're all about.
Sure. Now, you come from a Christian angle, and some will know that that's not always welcomed in local churches, local schools. Has that ever been an issue? Have people ever refused help because of that or refused connection?
So I think we've always been really open that we partner with churches in everything that we do. And early intervention, for example, it takes place in the school building, in the school day. And it's really clear as we work with schools that we are partnering with the church, and it is the church that is leading this. It's the church that actually is leading the conversation with the school kind of as it launches. So that's really important to us that firstly that's really clear, and TLG is there to help the church to build that relationship, to communicate what the program, like early intervention, is all about, what it is, what it isn't. So, yeah, we have seen schools across the UK be really open to support because they need it, but also I think because they see the church is really well positioned. And we work with schools of all sorts of shapes and sizes as well. Um, and yeah, our um, our experience has been really positive in helping the church to work in school. And because I think because the work is in that school day, it's and in the school building, it's building a bridge between church and school. It's really transparent. It's church going into their communities. What an incredible thing that is, and the difference that that can make. So yeah, our experience is really positive. It's in primary and secondary schools across the UK, and yeah, working with schools of different coming from all sorts of different places, different governances. So yeah, it's great. We've learnt lots over the years, and we hope to share that learning in any way that we can to help school really understand what the program is about, and help church to build that relationship, um, or building on an existing relationship in lots of cases. Because in loads of cases, church has been working with school for many years, and early intervention or MakeLunch really adds to that, really builds on that connection.
Well, that segues nicely to say hi to Sarah. And Sarah, how did you first become aware of TLG?
Well, when I arrived new to the job in 2020, um, two members of my church who were also governors at the school were already doing early intervention, not through us as a hub, but through another church reaching out into our community. And so I heard about early intervention, but very soon after I arrived, as we started looking at deprivation in the parishes, um, and started looking at food banks, that team and other church members came forward and said, "Oh, look, what about this thing, this Make Lunch that TLG also do?" So we started exploring the idea of partnering with TLG for Make Lunch. And I had in my previous church done some summer work support families in the school holidays. We'd run some lunch clubs a couple of times a week um, in the summer holidays. And gosh, it's hard work. If you as a church decide to go on your own and do everything by yourself, the number of things it was just quite overwhelming how many things you had to think about and remember and plan for. So when I heard about TLG Make Lunch, the fact that all the thinking had been done for us was just amazing. And that's one of the things that made it possible, really, that all of the structure from safeguarding to building your team, to safer recruitment, to health and safety, food safety, ideas for menus, just every single bit of structure that you could think about that you might need to do as a church to run something as mad as two lunch clubs per week all the way through the summer holidays. And then at half terms and in the holidays as well, it was all covered. Um,
Well,
so, yeah.
for those not aware, of course, this is a project which aims to support those who would typically be financially supported with lunches. They don't receive that support during the holidays, and therefore churches can partner to support that during that time.
Yeah. And we have been running for about 3 years now. And we provide, when we started it up, we thought, well, we're aiming at children who are on free school meals, who would have food all the way through the school term, but then in the holidays would struggle with food. But it's so much more than that, because the families who come to us, some of them aren't on free school meals, and that, but they're just on the edge, and they might have some families have lots more children than the two child benefit cap allows for, and all sorts of issues with small housing, and difficulties that mean that having somewhere to come, having a structure in the holidays, having a Monday and a Friday with when they can come to us. It's not just about food. It's about psychological well-being. It's about poverty of activity for many families. Not being able to go on holiday, not being
Mm.
able to go out for day trips because they're just too expensive. These families are able to come and be fed in more ways than just the food, and not least of which is the spiritual.
Sure. It'd be helpful just to get a perspective in terms of the numbers we're talking here, Sarah.
Okay, so we've been doing this over 3 years. I think that we have fed. I think we've made about 350 meals over that 3 years. And in the last year, I think we've seen 35 different children.
Wow.
We have regulars, but we have people who arrive new, and we have some throughput as well. But generally, on a lunchtime in the holidays, we'll have around 15 to 20 children and adults coming to us, plus our team. So you're probably we're generally catering for about 30 people.
Sure.
So it doesn't sound very much because we're not a big
No.
church.
But that's 30 children who've wouldn't have received anything. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in terms of you mentioned some of the wider connections that or wider needs that you have. How has it
Yeah.
been in terms of what you might call Christian church ministry, in terms of connecting with maybe the families at other times?
Yeah. So I'm very blessed because much of the advertising that we do is in my 2 schools in the parishes, and they're both church schools. So I'm already involved with the schools in terms of leading collective worship in schools. I'm on both sets of governors in the schools. So the church is very embedded in the schools already, which gives us a particular flavour at MakeLunch that's very definitely, it's a very obvious church link. It's a very obvious, everybody knows me. I'm Reverend Sarah. They've all met me in school. Lots of the parents know me. So but what has come out of MakeLunch really is that building the relationship of trust. And we've had a number of families bring their children for baptism. We've had we've supported families in much deeper ways. There's a sort of link in. Obviously, we run a food bank club, so we've had a link into food bank, but we've also had a link in terms of developing support systems for people with more complex problems as well. So we've done some co-working with a local charity called Coffee and Coping to create something called Hope and Action, which is some work specifically supporting people who've got drug and alcohol problems, which can include families involved in MakeLunch.
Sure. Oh.
So we've done quite a lot in that social support side of things, and the complexity. Those relationships have led me into, supporting people with who are struggling to keep hold of and parent their children, and some really complex situations for families.
Yeah.
And I think so. It allows you into the complexity of people's lives, and opens up the space to support in a much wider way, in a much deeper way, but also to bring God into the lives of all those children
Mm.
and their families. For churches, you often think about the church, school, home triangle. It's quite hard when you're in school, but no children are in church, to join up that school, home, church triangle. And Make Lunch does help us to do that. And it's led to other adventures as well. 6 months ago, we started something called Make Church. We nicked the make very cleverly from Make Lunch and put it into church. But it is an all-age service with a particular focus on children, with an aim to be inclusive, and to create a service and a church community, which is, deliberately linked to our Make Lunch community, but also takes in a much wider community of all our baptism families who might struggle to come to traditional church.
Sure.
And we are quite traditional, as you can see.
Oh, bless you. Well, thank you, Sarah, for that you shared in terms of things on the ground, so to speak. Rob, if I could return to you, we've looked at the specifics of Sarah. Any more broader things that churches maybe engage with you on, that you can share in terms of how churches connect with you?
Yes, just firstly, just so wonderful to hear from you, Sarah, and we're so grateful for all that you do and the depth and the relationship that you're building with your community. It's great to hear. Yeah, we partnering with churches of all sorts of shapes and sizes. We are we're on the journey with them, and yeah, that's part of that's working through obstacles in terms of launching things in community. So whether that's funding, whether that's building volunteers, whether that is whatever the sustainability yeah looks like, we're on that journey, and we want to pioneer things with churches that's going to be consistent, that's going to be scalable. That's really important, to us. So yeah, very much being partnership is relationship to us at TLG. So yeah, we engage in all sorts of different ways. So early intervention being the team of volunteers working one to one, Make Lunch being the larger space to welcome families into your community all year round. That's just two ways that we do that. And yeah, we're seeing the local church in action, loving communities well. It's wonderful to see.
And is there a sort of average size of churches getting involved? I mean, some may be watching this or reading this thinking, actually, we're quite a small church. How large do we have to be to connect with you guys?
There's such a variety of examples in our partnership network. We've built partnerships with churches of less than 10.
Oh, wow.
And they're doing incredible things in their community, and volunteers pitching in and kind of really pulling together. So it is true, it is churches of all sorts of shapes and sizes, and I think if a small church is hearing this today and kind of thinking, do we have enough people? I'd really encourage you to start the conversation with us. We'd love to answer your questions, and would love to share stories that we hope will be a real encouragement to you. We also see churches come together in small groups to build a team and to share resource. That can work really well with both programs. We've got models to do that. So yeah, I'd encourage no one to write yourself off. And we are would love to start that conversation with you. And I think a quote that that comes to mind, I think it's from Mother Teresa. She said, "We can all do small things with great love." And I think that really encourages me about what the church can bring in all of its fullness. It's in the showing up. It's in the consistency. It's in those coaching sessions that may feel hard and tricky at times, but it has so much impact that you don't see. Or similarly, MakeLunch. We've got so many incredible stories of encouragement, of just the most incredible impact over time and the relationships that have been built. And yeah, that's from churches, large and small.
And the next step, if someone's watching this and wanting to get involved, presumably get in touch with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. To get in touch, you can do that through our website really easily. Would love to start the conversation with you, and yeah, bring questions, bring challenges, bring your hopes, bring your dreams, and we'd love to do that journey and share the difference that is taking place across the UK through MakeLunch. We're seeing that 99% of people are saying that it's had a positive impact on their families' well-being. 97% feel part of the community as a result of MakeLunch. It's incredible to see the impact from early intervention of over 10,000 coaching hours that took place last year with children across primary and secondary school. So I'd love to explore what that could look like in your context. And yeah, through our website is a great place to begin.
Wow, wonderful. Well, it's a fantastic example of connecting with the community. So thank you to both of you for all that you've shared and for giving hope to so many who'll be watching this and maybe wanting to get involved too. So my thanks to Sarah. And
Thank you.
And thank you to Rob.
Thanks so much.
And look out for an edited version of this interview in Preach 47, due out in late May. And of course, do join us again for another Word Shared podcast, or indeed access one of the archive versions on the website preachweb.org/podcast. Bye for now.